Breeding in Palworld is the best way to make specific pals custom fitted to specific tasks, like a mount, utility, combat, or worker pal. The quick TLDW version of breeding is quite simple. Create a breeding farm by unlocking it in your technology tree at level 19, stock the breeding farm with the cake that you cook, place a male pal and a female pal in the ranch, wait a little while, then collect the egg that they produce. Then to hatch the egg that they produced, you just put it into an incubator for a set amount of time. Now, unless you've changed the default settings around eggs, they have various timers ranging from minutes to hours depending on the rarity of the egg. This can be reduced by higher tier incubators and adjusting the ambient temperature using heating or cooling technologies depending on what the egg wants. That said, there are some things to consider more if you want to take a more deep dive into understanding the system. Starting off the deep dive, to acquire cake, you need to at least have the cooking pot unlocked, or you could use a higher tiered cooking facility, which is in your technology tree starting at level 17, and then the breeding ranch starting at level 19. Then you need to acquire 5 ingredients: honey, eggs, milk, wheat, and berries. Once you have the required ingredients, cook the cake in your cooking pot with a fire pal, and then place the cake inside your breeding farm storage container to prepare the breeding farm for breeding. You can acquire berries and wheat from farming them yourself or purchasing them from a vendor, while honey, eggs, and milk are produced at the ranch. Similarly though, like berries and wheat, you can purchase eggs and milk from the item vendors, but you cannot purchase honey. Honey is the only ingredient you will have to 100% ranch yourself. Luckily, honey is produced by bee guards, and if you are not interested in purchasing them, eggs are produced from chickpeas and milk from mozzarinas. As a quick tip to maximize your ranch farm, breed your ranch pals for specific traits that are good for workers and then condense them up to the highest rank, so you can increase the amount of ingredients they produce at the ranch every hour. The next important thing to understand about breeding in Palworld is that you can breed different pals together to get different offspring results. So many, in fact, that the developers have boasted that there are over 18,000 different parent combinations. For a few simple examples, a Bushi parent plus a Bushi parent would equal a Bushi offspring. That's simple enough. However, a change is when you add a Penking, because a Bushi parent plus a Penking parent would actually make an Anubis offspring. The gender of the parents doesn't affect this. The offspring is purely determined on what the parent species are. So in the Bushi Penking example, a male Bushi and a female Penking would make an Anubis, just like a female Bushi and a male Penking would as well. Likewise, there are special variants of certain pals that can be achieved through very specific parent combinations, like for example a new combination added in the last patch, Jormuntide plus Blazehow. This pal parent combination will now produce Jormuntide Ignis and is the only way you can get Jormuntide Ignis from breeding if you don't catch it out in the world. The last and most nerdy part of breeding are the passes and IVs. IVs are extra free stats ranging from 0 to 100 that are added onto the pal's health, attack, and defensive base stats, while passive grant various negative or positive effects that further enhance said base stats, working stats, or movement speed, and other things. When you breed pals together, there is a chance for the parents to pass on their passives and IVs to the offspring, but there is also a chance that the passives may mutate and roll completely random. These IV and passive checks are made for every single passive and IV category upon egg creation. So for example, if you bred a ferocious passive Bushi with a musclehead Penking, there is a relatively decent chance you will hatch an Anubis with both traits, ferocious and musclehead, within something like an average of 30 to 40 eggs. Although it is still unfortunately all RNG and may take more or less egg hatchers than that. You then combine the new Anubis offspring with ferocious and musclehead with another pal that has 2 other desirable passives, like say legendary bulky body or the elemental damage increases, that you want to try and give the offspring so they have all 4 passes on one pal. Using this method, it's possible to breed up the perfect trait combinations by combining desirable traits on the parents and then breeding many generations of offspring, combining those offsprings to create the perfect parents to breed together, so that then you can breed those together until you roll an offspring with the combined 4 passive combination and IV stats that you want. The passives, though, are the most important part of breeding, just to be clear, because while it will be easy to fix the IVs by using raid drops, the raid drops are random and you will not get them for every raid that you've completed, and as of right now, they only drop from the Bella Noir Libario raid. You are, however, not able to change the passives on a pal at all currently using any item in the game. Last patch was the small chance for eggs to hatch as alpha pals, which increases their HP by 20%. As you can see on the surface, breeding can be quite simple, but once you get into the nitty-gritty and the over 18,000 parent combinations, it can quickly spiral out of control. Definitely play with it a bit first by yourself because being able to shortcut breeding high-end pals early on in the game really messes with your progression arc. But once you get serious about breeding, it is almost required to use these calculators in our opinion, simply due to the high amount of parent combinations that you'll never be able to actually work through yourself. If you enjoy our content and would like to see more, why not hit us with a sub and a like? Otherwise, thanks for checking us out and have a good night.